Hi, welcome back. In episode 3, we're going to draw EEVEE. I'll take you through all the steps that I did to make this drawing, and remember, you don't have to go at the same pace. I've sped the drawing video up a little bit for convenience, so please pause the video at any time you like. So starting off, you can see I already have two references of EEVEE up the top. I won't copy these, but I'll just refer to them to remind me about EEVEE's character design. As always, I'm going to start off with a circle and an axis for the head and the face. Looking a bit closer at the head shape of EEVEE, we can see that it's not just a simple circle. It's rounded at the top, but at the bottom it's slightly angular. This is because of the jaw and the cheeks. So we're going to add a bit more onto our base to show that. Remember, at this stage, when we're only drawing the skeleton, everything doesn't have to be perfect. And remember, if you're drawing traditionally, to not push down hard with your pencil. We need to erase this later. Now we're looking at the ears. I want to see where they attach onto EEVEE's head. They're not directly on top of the head, they're a little bit on the side. So I'm going to draw some circles to show where the ears will attach. The shape of EEVEE's ears are more like diamonds. As we can see in the references, EEVEE's head is not smooth all the way around. It has a lot of fur, so we need to draw some lines to remind us that we should add texture. My lines look really feathery and messy at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to erase everything later. So now it's time to start drawing the first part of the body. Again, we're going to draw a vase-like shape, and the top circle should be where the head connects to the neck. We're also going to draw two circles at the bottom of this vase shape to show where EEVEE's front legs connect with the torso. Basically, the front legs are cylinders, and the paws at the bottom are just simply ovals connected onto those. And don't forget the little lines to show where the toes are. In our references, the EEVEE on the left is in a 3/4 view, and the EEVEE on the right is facing front. I want to draw EEVEE a bit in between these two references. Now to draw the back torso. I'm going to draw another oval and create the structure for the back leg. Instead of just one cylinder, we can see the back leg will be made out of 3 ovals. And now it's time to create EEVEE's fluffy mane. All the lines for the mane will be protruding out from the neck area, and the bottom lines will be ruffled and separated, just like a lion's mane. I'm just going to play around with the skeleton a little bit more before we start our lines. I wanted to add a little something extra to this drawing, so I'm going to add some flowers for decoration. Of course, you can add any kind of decorations you like. If you have a different idea and end up drawing it, please send it to me. I'd love to see it. Now that our skeleton is finished, it's time to start the lines, and I almost always start with the face. Here I'm checking the references and trying to get the eye shape correct. This can be difficult and it will take a few tries. Don't worry if you don't get every shape looking right straight away. You can always go back in and fix it later. So something very useful, or maybe a little bit of a cheat, when you're drawing digitally, is that you can flip the eye so you don't have to draw in the other eye. Maybe just correct it. I'll show you here how that looks, but I always end up going in and drawing the second eye over it anyway. When I first started drawing when I was younger and I didn't have any digital software or a tablet, I wanted to find a trick to mirror the eye shape so the shapes would look identical. So I made a makeshift light box, and I used to draw the eye on a separate small piece of paper and then flip that paper. As I kept practicing, I found that I needed to do that less and less. So now I'm looking at the design of the nose and mouth and placing them on the axis. All the proportions here are not exactly like they are in the reference. I wanted to draw this EEVEE really small and cute, almost like a baby. At this stage, I wasn't really too sure about these eyes. I decided to give them a little bit of color to see if I would change my mind, but I wasn't feeling it, so I've decided to try again. This is totally normal, and sometimes I'll redraw the same thing 5 or 6 times before I'm satisfied. As you can see, I've gone and changed the shape of the eyes. I've made them a little bit more angular. And I didn't bother flipping the left eye layer this time. I don't think everything needs to be perfectly symmetrical, especially now since we're just drawing casually for fun and relaxation. So I'm just adding color into them to see how they'll look, and I'm much happier with this pair of eyes. I'm slightly adjusting the position of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I want Evie looking a little bit to the side. And now I've reduced the opacity of the skeleton layer and making a new layer and going over and drawing my lines. Again, trying to feather my lines as little as possible, making big long swoops and holding my pen loosely. Similarly to the eyes, I decided I wasn't happy with the position of the left ear, so I went in and quickly changed it. I also went into the skeleton and changed the scale of the body a little bit. When we draw the skeleton, we don't have to commit to those exact shapes, it's just a guideline. And of course, I realized I wasn't paying attention, and I forgot to add in the tail. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter when you add it in, you could even add it in when you've colored everything. I'm just glad I remembered. So the shape of Evie's tail is kind of like a large teardrop. And why does it kind of look like Mount Fuji? I'm just combining some of the line layers, and I'm gonna add in the tail. I'm also doing another skeleton just to get a good idea of where the tail would connect. I don't want to just freely draw it in, I want to imagine everything in 3D. And now for the fun part, I'm going to add in some flowers. I'm also going to fix up some lines wherever I see that it might need it and erase some stray lines. Okay, and now it's time to add some color. And I thought for this one, I was going to pick an autumn palette, so I found a list of color palettes. Thank you very much to E. Barnes. This is their color palette collection. I'm going to pick palette 13. It's perfect for autumn, and it fits EEVEE almost perfectly. So I'm just using the dropper tool and filling in the layer below, choosing all the different colors. I'm going back over the eyes again with the palette colors. I don't want the drawing to look completely flat, so I'm going to add in some highlights and some shadows, just still using the limited palette. Again, to help me, I'm going to draw my sun and arrow to remind me where the light should be hitting. I'm also using the two purple darker colors in the palette for shading, and I'm just not pressing hard with the pen, or I'm changing the opacity of the layers. In this picture, I'm only going to use very simple shading, shadows coming from the bottom and light from the top. And I'm going to choose one of the colors to put in a little background, and just adding in some final little decorations. I really hope you enjoyed either watching this drawing or drawing along with me today. Again, if you did draw along, please send me your drawings to the email on the screen or in the description box, because I'd love to see your drawings and feature them on my videos. As always, if you have a request for me to draw a certain character in my next videos, please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.